Hey guys, welcome back to my silly little gang. This video is gonna be totally different than any other video I've done on this channel. But I didn't want to create a separate channel just because I have shared most of my weight loss journey already on this channel. So I am going to create a playlist for just this subject. So for any videos related to the topic that we'll be discussing today forward, I will have a playlist on that. So then that way you don't have to search through all my videos to find the information on this topic. This is a video that I have been thinking about recording for a couple weeks now. But I also wanted to record it at a time where it was quiet in the house and so there's no like background noise and anything other than my fish. I don't know if you can hear that. As you can tell by the title of this video, I have decided to get weight loss surgery. And I'm leaning more towards the vertical sleeve, but I haven't had that initial consultation yet. And we are going to, I guess, discuss that with the surgeons. But I believe that more than likely it'll be that. So for now, the playlist will have the title of, weight loss surgery journey, but I hope to change that. I'm sorry, I will try to say a lot less. Let's see. If you guys are new to the channel, then you probably don't know, but my weight has been an issue for a while. And what I mean by a while is probably since middle school. My weight has been a constant yo-yo. I go up, I go down. I mean, I've been as small as 90 pounds back in freshman year of high school after being like 120, 130 in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So that's just so you can get an idea of what the yo-yoing is. And then sophomore year, the weight started creeping back on, and then by the time I graduated high school, I was already up around like 150, around there, and it's just been a constant, yo-yo. I got married right out of high school, and again, my fluctuation in weight and everything. I think my biggest was 300 pounds, which I then lost, and by the time I got divorced, which I was married for 6 years, and then I got divorced. By the time I got divorced, I was around 300 pounds, and then about a year after I got divorced, I was back down to 109. So, I mean, that's so you guys can get an idea of what I mean by my weight has always yo-yoed. I have tried every possible diet you can think of. Most of them are here on my channel. I know the Nutrisystem is on my channel. And I've tried, Nutrisystem, Weight Watchers, Atkins, the cabbage diet, the soup diet, the liquid diet, the juicing diet. I have tried pretty much every diet out there. I've tried diet pills, diet drops, everything. And some of them work. I'm not going to lie, some of them work. But the minute that you stop it, the weight not only comes back, but you gain even more than where you had initially started when you started dieting. I just want to add a little disclaimer here. I am in no way health professional, like a doctor, nutritionist, anything like that. And I don't want to say like this is what will happen to you, because that's not it. This is just, I'm just doing these videos to share my experience, and pretty much so I have a log to look back on in the future. That being said, I will leave the comments open, but please keep in mind that this is my decision, my experience, my opinions, and please be nice when you comment. I have been watching a lot of weight loss videos, weight loss surgery videos on YouTube, and some of the comments that I read on there are very nasty. And I want this to be like an engaging community. I want us to be able to talk about, you know, whatever, and more than anything, support one another and not judge one another, because who are we to judge, you know? Well, thank you for listening to that little rant there. Back to my story. Shortly after, maybe like 3 years after I got divorced, I met the wonderful man that I am married to at the moment. And he is the father of my 3 amazing boys. And he has been with me through thick and thin, and literally thick and thin. Since my weight has always been an issue, I go up and down. You guys can check out the Nutrisystem videos to see where I was when I started it, where I ended it. And that was actually the last diet I tried. After my last son was born 6 years ago, I had postpartum depression. And for some reason that just went on. Now it's just full-on depression. It's not postpartum depression, but I am on depression medication. And of course the weight doesn't help. I was back down at the beginning of last year. I think I was like 150, 160 pounds. Then by July of last year, so July 2016, I started getting really severe pain throughout my entire body. It took me a while to get that checked out. I was scared to see what it was. I was scared to find out. So it took me a while. Finally, I went to my primary care physician and told her what was going on. And I told her how much pain I was in and what did she think it would be. So my primary care physician has been, she's been with me for a while now. So, she has my medical history, and she pretty much knows what's going on with me. I see her quite often. So she did some lab work, and she checked everything, and everything came back normal, except for my RA factor, which is like an inflammatory marker, is what she told me. So because that inflammatory marker was elevated, she told me that she thought I should see a rheumatologist. So she referred me to a rheumatologist. And one thing that I love is that all the doctors, because they're under the same hospital network, they can all see all my lab work and everything. So I didn't have to go ahead and get the same tests done over again. However, he did do some other blood tests, but those came back normal as well. So at that point, he told me that I didn't have rheumatoid arthritis, because usually if you have your inflammatory markers high, there's a good chance that you have rheumatoid arthritis. So he told me that it wasn't that, because he tested other things and that hadn't come back positive. But that's when he diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. So then we went ahead and he put me on all sorts of different medicines. He put me through all sorts of different medicines to see which one would be able to control my pain the best. After trying several different medicines, we finally found ones that worked. So now I take gabapentin and meloxicam along with my depression meds. And those seem to work fine. They give me more better days, definitely. But I still have at least 2 or 3 bad days a week. But I take advantage of those good days and, I go out. Although I have to admit that I tend to overwork myself on the good days because I don't have pain. And then when the bad days come, they're worse. But that being aside, I couldn't lose the weight. I just couldn't lose the weight. So when I followed back up with my primary care physician, in that time, let's see, when I stopped exercising because of the pain, I was at I was at 150. And so between July 2016 and not December, probably more towards like the end of November 2016, I went from being 150 to 230 pounds. And I could feel it. I could feel the 230 pounds. I've always been a big girl, and weight never really bothered me. Obviously I knew I had to lose weight. I knew I had to exercise and everything, but I could still work out. I could still walk. I could still run. I could still, do a whole bunch of things that now at 230 was getting difficult to do. So when I went back to see her, I told her, I'm having trouble, exercising. Even on my good days now, I feel short of breath and whatnot. So she told me that she thought I should do bariatric surgery because my weight has always been a yo-yo. And I didn't want to. I was like, nope, let me try to lose this weight. I know I can lose the weight. Let me try to lose the weight. She told me, I will give you 3 months to try. I will see you back here in 3 months. But if you haven't lost the weight, then we need to have this conversation again. I told her it was fine, no problem, I'll do it, you know. So I came back home. I was like, not really watching what I ate, because honestly, I always watched what I ate. Being a big girl, I haven't been on so many diets. I've always watched what I ate. The problem was that because of my depression, I noticed that if I was home alone, I would not eat. I wouldn't feel hungry. And if I wasn't hungry, I wasn't going to eat, because then those are calories that I'm not putting in my body. That's what I thought. Well, long story short, if you don't eat, then when you do eat, your body stores all that as fat. Instead of burning anything that you eat, it stores it as fat, because your body has no idea when you're going to eat it. So that was one of my issues, was the fact that I wouldn't eat. I'm trying to think. I did work out on the good days. And I tried to force myself to eat. But even then, when 3 months came, I went to see my doctor, and she's like, okay, well, how have you been feeling? And we went over everything that I was doing. And I told her how I was trying to make myself eat. I was eating small meals. I went over what I was eating, how I worked out on the days that I could. And she told me, okay, let's go weigh yourself. When I stepped on that scale, my jaw hit the floor. In those 3 months, I had gone from 230 pounds to 250. That was ridiculous. I could not believe it. I mean, I knew I wasn't feeling better. I was still having problems tying my shoes, walking. I couldn't run anymore. But I thought that that was because I was at the 230 mark. I never would have guessed that I had gained weight instead of losing. So she looked at me and she goes, we tried it. She goes, I have been witness to everything you've tried, to all the diets you've been through, to try to get to the healthy track, and nothing is working. She goes, it's time for you to look into bariatric surgery. At that point, I understood. I understood that she had let me do what I wanted to do because she believed in me as much as I did. But at that time, I also understood that what she was saying and what she was doing is because she was investing in my well-being and in my health as well. And I should be just as invested, if not more. So I told her, yeah, okay, let's do this. So she issued the referral. So she told me to go to the Center for Weight Loss Surgery at Newton Wellesley Hospital in Massachusetts. She told me to go online and check the dates of the informative classes that they had. If I wanted to attend one to learn more about them and what they offer before going ahead and actually contacting the office. But at this point, I knew that I had to do this. This was no longer an optional thing for me. This was something I had to do. It was a must. So I called the center and I left a message, and I got a call back the very next day. And they told me that the following week they were going to go ahead and have a new patient information meeting, I think it's what it's called. And she goes, can I schedule you to come so you can, learn more about it. Now, before even getting surgery, they require you to go to 3 meetings. They require you to go to 3 of the meetings that they offer. So I said, yeah, that's fine. And I told her I would go to that meeting. While I was looking online, I noticed that same week, they were going to have what they call a community support meeting. And I decided to go ahead and go to that. I can't tell you what a difference that made for me. The atmosphere was amazing. I felt comfortable. Even though there was a lot of people, I didn't feel judged. I felt like I could say whatever and that everybody there was going to understand where I was coming from and where I wanted to go. But aside from that, I got a chance to meet patients who had the surgery before. I got a chance to meet people who were thinking about it. And I had a chance to meet people that already had their surgery date scheduled but hadn't had the surgery yet. And their stories were so inspiring. And I knew at that moment that I had made the right decision by going there. Now, this wasn't going to be the first time that I was going to have surgery at Newton Wellesley Hospital. Newton Wellesley for me is my go-to place. I had my gallbladder taken out there back in 2008. Yeah, 2008. I had my last baby there via C-section in 2011. I had a D&C due to a miscarriage performed there in 2009. And all 4 of those times, I couldn't have been more happy with the service that I got at that hospital. Everyone, from the nurses to the doctors to the orderly, all of them were super kind, friendly, and very helpful. And I felt at home. So I knew without a doubt when my doctor told me to get bariatric surgery that I was going to go there. And had she not have been within that network, I would have still went there because of my prior experience at that hospital. So it's no surprise to me that the people that ran the meeting also made me feel like that, comfortable. The meeting was super informative, even though it was a community support meeting, so it wasn't really like a new patient information meeting. That was coming. That was the following week. But because she asked how many people were new, and there was a lot of us who were either thinking about the surgery or who hadn't gotten the surgery yet, the people who had surgery, and they ranged from less than a month post-op to, I think there was somebody there, It was somebody there who had had surgery 5 years. So she was 5 years post-op. And a lot of them shared their stories. And it was amazing to see. So I knew without a doubt that I had taken the right choice. At that meeting, they all shared tips and whatnot. So I knew that I was going to start eating differently from the very next day. And I say the very next day because that meeting was in the evening. So the very next day, I knew that I was going to cut one thing out of my eating habits. That was sugar. I was going to cut sugar out of my diet completely, cold turkey. I am a big sweets eater. I love my sugar. But I knew it had to be done. So I did it. And the day after the meeting was on a Thursday. So on Friday morning, I weighed myself. And I started keeping a log, which I actually have here. So I started keeping this log. And the day right after, I weighed myself, and I weighed 255 pounds. So as you can see here, I wrote it down, 255 pounds, day 1. And I started keeping a track of what I had for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and how much water I was drinking. And I did that all the way until, and what I do is on the back of that, I write down how my day went. And so I did that all the way until I went to the new patient informational meeting. At that meeting, I received the BMI chart. I don't know. I'll check and see if they have it online. If they have it online, I'll put a link to it down below in the description box. But I got a BMI chart, and I got their nutrition guidelines with some examples of a menu. So the very next day, I started eating like that. And one of the things they said was that between breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I should be snacking. And it gave ideas as to what types of snacks. So I started incorporating that into my diet. I weighed myself day 1, and I weighed at 255. Then I weighed myself at day 7. And at day 7, I weighed in at 249.8 pounds. That was a big drop for me in a week. I was surprised. And I was like, okay, this is doable. So I just kept tracking it, and I also scheduled my consultation after that appointment. So I have my first appointment, which is my consult, scheduled for September 26th. So then, let me see, have I weighed myself since then? I haven't. 10, 12, nope. Today is day 14, and I have not weighed myself. And I've had breakfast and my water. I haven't had snack or lunch yet, so I haven't filled that in yet, but as soon as I do, I will. But I think that I probably won't weigh myself until they weigh me at my consultation appointment, just to see how it's going. Now, I've been watching, ever since I decided to go on this journey, I've been watching a lot of weight loss surgery videos on YouTube. And I've noticed that a lot of the people go for their consultation, and then they go back to get lab work, and then they go back to meet the dietitian, and then another appointment to meet the psychiatrist, psychologist, and so forth. What they do there is that they told me that it is one long appointment. So she told me to estimate to be there for 5 hours. Sorry. So she told me to be there for 5 hours because I was going to be doing all the lab work, meeting the surgeon, the dietitian, and doing my psych evaluation all in the same visit. Which honestly I appreciate. I appreciate not having to go back and forth, because I live about an hour away from the hospital. So you know, and it's hard for me because I'm the one that drops off and picks up my boys. So it's just easier this way too, because then my husband only has to take 1 day off from work, and you know, he can go drop me off, then come back, take care of the boys, and then go pick me up. So I have that scheduled next Tuesday. And that's when I will be uploading the second video. But throughout this, I don't think I've told you guys the main reason. I don't think I've told you guys the main reason as to why I chose to get bariatric surgery. Before I gained all this weight, I used to do tons of things with my boys. I would play on the floor with them. I would run outside with them. Whenever we went to the park, I would be playing in the park with them, running around and everything. And I was very involved in their lives. I'm still involved in their lives. But now, when they're on the floor playing, I'm sitting in a chair or on the couch, or I can't sit on the floor with them because then I have a hard time getting up. When we go outside, I'm sitting in a chair while they're running around in the backyard. If we go to the park, I'm watching them as they play. And I don't want to do that anymore. I feel like I am on the outside watching them live their life, and I feel like I can't be a part of it. And I can't have that. I don't want my kids to remember their childhood and remember me sitting on the side. No. I want them to remember me playing with them, wrestling with them, running with them. That's what I need them to remember. And that's what my ultimate goal is. So I'm not doing this to lose weight because I want to feel pretty and I want to be a size, 0. No, I'm not doing that. I'm already pretty. And I know that sounds conceited. I don't mean to be conceited because I'm not a conceited person. But I've always felt myself as a pretty person. I have always had that confidence of being beautiful. And that didn't change even as I gained weight. So I'm not doing this for that. And I'm being realistic. I may never be a size 0. And I don't care. I just want to be healthy. That's what I want. I want to be healthy. I want to be able to live a long life. And I want to be able to be a part of my children's lives. That's the reason I'm doing this surgery. That's the reason I started this journey. And like I mentioned before, I will have in the playlists, I will go ahead and start a new playlist just for videos on this topic, my weight loss surgery. And then that way you don't have to like search through all my videos and everything. And I hope that you guys will join me on my journey. And I hope that we can have a community that will support one another and not judge one another. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them below. I will try to answer them as best as I can. And I thank you. I will make another video. I have my appointment on Tuesday, so probably Wednesday of next week. And I'll let you guys know how that consultation was, my experience, and what I did, what we discussed, and hopefully I'll be able to tell you what type of surgery my surgeon and I decided would be best for me. Thanks again for watching. Please thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe if you're interested in following me on this journey. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.